So this whole group of paintings, not that one, but these, were done mostly recently, and they were also different from paintings I'd done of the subject before, that I was completely puzzled about them and didn't really know what to do. Like, are these my paintings? Like, do I recognize them? I am just sort of rote painting in, and it started with the one over the book down there. You can see it head on with that little painting in late summer. And so all these four, but I have other ones too. They were just sort of coming, and I'd think, that doesn't look like my painting. I've gone in that direction, sort of, but I'm not sure quite what I'm doing here. And yet I like it. I like that it's not structured, you know, no aggressive structure. I felt that I'm inclined to sort of aggressively go about something and figure out what the structure of the painting is going to be. But with these, I was just painting what I was looking at. And in a way, I was recovering from long COVID. I was dealing with my own anxiety at being so far behind and trying to work for this show that I really couldn't just let go and get into the painting and feel, oh, I've got plenty of time. I didn't feel I had plenty of time. So it's been a very strange time working. There is a warrior in the background. It looks like a female warrior. She's got a spear. And I put that there, and then I put my Aunt Nellie's Chinese bell in front of that bowl. And I looked at it later and I thought, he looks like he's holding his crotch, and she's got that spear up, and I just wonder, what was my motive in doing that and setting that up that way? I'm not sure. But it really looks like, it really looks more arranged than I thought I was doing. I mean, I did just put out some papers, but what interested me was the way the light hit the side of the vase and the paper. These two paintings are from last fall, and the two big paintings, I like to work large in Vermont because Vermont seems such a big scale, and the trees are, 80, 120 feet tall, and how do you deal with something in that scale, and then these hills, and then the light hitting them in the fall is so amazing. I can't not try to paint them, is really what happens. And then when that's over with and January hits again, we usually go to Tucson, and those paintings are different. But these 5 paintings are actually, were just a puzzle to me. I wasn't sure they'd be in the show. All these funny greens, they're not really, there's nothing planned about this. I just sort of followed my nose through this without thinking too much. And I don't know, Naomi and I were trying to talk about this earlier. I was trying to talk to Naomi about it earlier. And she said, it's just that you know how to paint now, you don't have to think so much about it. And I think maybe that's part of it. This painting happened pretty much, and then I had to try to make a painting out of it. It doesn't, to get that kind of light in the late day, it doesn't last very long. Maybe you have 20 minutes to see it like this. And I took lots of photographs. I don't really find them terribly useful, but they're, I know the landscape so well at this point. I know every tree. I know, and it's still a miracle to watch this happen in the fall. Like, this is an oak tree, so it's still got a lot of its leaves. The sun hits it, late in the day, just in these stripes of the hill, and it's kind of going from that corner to this corner. And this is the remains of a forsythia bush, which, you know, you still have the green leaves turning yellow, and then they're turning purple. And these are some posts that had made this an apple orchard, and I took down the apple orchard fence because I didn't like the prison look of it. So we still have the posts. I thought I needed something man-made there to hang on to. So, and you see a piece of this cabin that Alan and some students from Haverford College built. And it has, you know, it's one of those things that, do you tear it down now or do you try to keep it alive? So this is what's left of the trees at that time of year. And you look over there and the trees are completely bare. It's another month has passed. I've got my canvas set up. I've got this wonderful mountain I love in the distance, and I think, oh, I'm all set. I've got this great, found this perfect place to paint, and this guy comes from nowhere. I mean, I didn't even know there was a house behind the mountain, and he says, "What do you think you're doing out here? There are mountain lions and there are rattlesnakes, and you have no business being out here with us. You know, what are you talking about?" And I thought, okay, maybe I better take this seriously. So I started painting on the back porch of this house, and within 10 days, this cute little lion cub starts coming toward me. I'm on the porch, I'm safe, and he's, you know, let's play, you know. He's got freckles, he's got fuzzy ears, he's darling, and I think, I'm gonna go call my daughter-in-law. I finally saw a bobcat, but he has a very long tail. No, that's not a bobcat, that is a baby mountain lion, which it was, and Mom was right behind the bushes over there. You know. So I thought maybe he was right. Maybe I'll just not do these paintings outside, because I really do like to be alone while I'm painting. I don't want anyone to talk to me. The things that interrupt me in Vermont are a bird banging against the house, and I have to go see if it's still alive and put it in a bag and try to get it to recover. Or I remember being in France painting in what I thought was a quite quiet place, and suddenly there is a whole painting school behind me. And there is a professor, and he is mumbling things to all of his students. And I am paralyzed with incapacity to continue with my painting, because I was reading the other day that people who, you know, creative people, like people who paint, often get into periods where they have created total chaos. Like, they're trying this and they're trying this and that doesn't work, so trying this, they don't know where they're going. And that's me for sure. I don't want anyone watching me in this indefensible chaos that I have created. And I want to be able to deal with it in whatever way I can. And it doesn't bother me a bit, but if somebody's watching me, I get very disturbed. So I had to scrape down this painting when they finally toddled off. This art school finally toddled off. I scraped the painting down and I completely started over with, because it wasn't my painting anymore in any way. I do love painting trees, and trees really do turn me on. I jokingly said to my husband, I think I was bonded by trees. And I had learned slowly over the years, and it was slow in coming, but it did come, that when I was born, my mother got up and went to live with her aunt. And I was put in the care of my grandmother, and my grandmother was already taking care of my older brother. And my grandmother had me in her room, and I remember this. Baby bed had a mirror that I couldn't touch, but it was right across from the bed, and it reflected trees from outside, the second floor of this house. And I remember the branches moving, in the mirror, and I guess she figured that would entertain me long enough. And I could sit there and talk to the trees, and I've been talking to them ever since. And I feel like there must have been some bond early on. So I think I painted it one year because we were there when it was in bloom. Everything turns that color of acid yellow when it blooms. The Palo Verdes and the acacias and the mesquites, they all seem to have the same color of yellow, so the Tucson just becomes yellow in a certain moment. It doesn't last very long, but it's like, gee, you could think of some other color, couldn't you? Anyway, this is a mesquite this year. I give up. I have decided I am going to let it grow. I'll cut down a certain number of branches so I can keep seeing out there, but I am really tired of trying to cut down this mesquite that I have to admire its complete determination to insist on growing up and sending its branches everywhere, and it's shapeless. It does not have any form. I think painting is an amazing thing. I love what Jerry Saltz says about painting is something for your life. It is your life. It becomes your life. And I remember in kindergarten painting and having my wonderful kindergarten teacher. He used to spank us. I wasn't the only one, but I used to sass her. Where I got that, I'm not sure. And she would come and rip the paintbrush out of my hand and direct me to go sit down. I've asked you 10 times to go sit down. But it never bothered me. Like, everybody would be snickering and everybody threw their juice and cookies and where are you? Like, you're a bad girl. Like, I was oblivious. I was in heaven. And painting really became important to me very early on. I mean, you can't become a painter in elementary school. I mean, it's something you sort of grow into because it's a game of isolation. I mean, you just spend so much time alone working, and that's hard. You really have to learn how to deal with that. I think the smaller ones come primarily from just seeing something that I want to put down right there. Like, you're going to play a very short piece of music, and you're going to go from beginning to end, and everything has to interrelate sort of the way a piece of music interrelates. You're not going to take this out and repaint this, and the weather's going to be different the next day, but you're still going to work on the painting. The painting is more or less done. And the little paintings usually are done in one shot. And I might go back and edit them somewhat, but not majorly.
You mentioned earlier that painting for you is an intensely lonely and singular experience. Vicious, I think, is the word you use, that you insist. What about when you're finished painting for the day? How long does it take you to reintegrate and become a human, so poor Alan can enjoy your company?
Maybe you should ask him. The first question he asked me after I met him, and I think on our second date, was, do you think you should quit painting? And I thought, my God, that's the most important question anybody's ever asked me.
Because he wanted you to?
No, he said, good. I thought it was going to be very threatening to try to carry on this painting. It was terrifying. Before I had my first child, I thought, I just read the bell jar, and I thought, good God, what is this going to do to me? What am I going to do? But it didn't, it really, it just totally enhanced my life. I just adore my children. I draw a lot in charcoal, and they're important to me, just to learn what you're looking at. Just try to figure it out.
So I will.
Oh yeah, we have one big charcoal drawing here. We have one big.
I am very fortunate to own a charcoal drawing.
of Martha's that was in a previous show. That's of a mackerel sky, and there's
Oh,
a
I
bit
love
of
that.
mackerel sky
I love that
up
one.
here.
Yeah, I know that one.
And Martha's charcoal drawings in black and white really are like a through line to how she sees and how she thinks, and the kind of analysis that's the underpinning of the paintings is what I was going to say. Oh, that's a
I'm glad I asked. Whoa. Do you do these before the paintings, or is it, you're not necessarily?
What happened was I was working on one of these paintings, on a big painting, and it was almost dark, and I was getting ready to put my paints away, and I turned around, and there was this huge mackerel sky. It is a pattern, and it comes like this, and then it just disappears. I mean, landscapes don't last very long. I'm picking moments where, like, that sky that sky's in a synthesis of maybe 15 minutes of change. And it's not, and it's gone. You know, it lasts for maybe 15 minutes, and it goes through different stages. That's kind of a synthesis of what's happening. And if you pick one thing, it wouldn't really look, it's like the discus, you know, the discus thrower, that he's not in a pose that a discus thrower ever holds. But when you see a discus thrower by a Greek sculptor, it's a combination of different poses put together that makes it look exactly like somebody is about to throw a discus. Well, these are done, you know, after I've painted and it's dark and I'm in my studio and I have to remember where the colors are on my palette because I can't see anything. And so I do these little studies, and that's why they're not,
So, Martha, just based on what you just said, do you find that sometimes after working very deliberately on something larger and you come to a small canvas afterward, that you're getting a kind of a distillation of the whole day of painting, but in a very quicker, smaller form?
well, it is very much, like you're very warmed up, you're just going to, and besides, these are throwaways in a way, they're just like, you just,
So they're lower risk in that
yes,
sense.
yeah, that's good, I like that, definitely, they're just,
But when you hit it, you really hit it.
well, I like the memory of it, you know, like, even the little drips I left in that one because I thought they made sense. But they're not, I mean, there's nothing careful or, I'm not trying to get the exact landscape or anything, I'm just trying to get some kind of memory of being there. They asked me to put together a panel, this is 1999, to put together a panel of what we should take in to the next century. And it was interesting what people talked about, you know, what they thought that you needed to salvage. But mostly they talked about their own work. I mean, that's what happens. Bill Brown, who was the oldest person there, and he said, beauty, take beauty into the next century. We're losing it.